Okay, so this is the first part of my Desmos tutorial series. You've probably seen or used something like this in your Algebra 1 class. Desmos is known as a graphing calculator, meaning you can input an equation on this left sidebar, and it graphs it on this Cartesian plane. Let's look at a few examples. As you can see, I've gone ahead and graphed x equals y, and Desmos has graphed the function. As you can see, for every point along this line, x equals y. Let's look at another example. Y equals x squared. And as you can see, again, Desmos has created the function on the graph for us. So let's go over a few basic things that you can do with Desmos. You can use these buttons here to zoom in and out, or you can just scroll in and out on a certain point in the graph. And then you can use this button to return to your default view. And once you're finished with your graph, you can click this button right on the top left to save your work. And you can view all of your saved graphs here. As you can see, I have a lot because I've been using Desmos for over 2 years. Let's open one of my earlier graphs, like this one. Horrible attempt I had at doing perspective. As you can see, everything in here has been saved. Let's go back to our test graph. Now we're going to look at an equation that you probably have many memories with from your Algebra 1 class, which is y equals mx plus b. If you don't know this, this is the equation for a line and slope m and y-intercept of b. So Desmos is already telling us that we should add variables for m and b, and we can click this all button to do that. So now, as you can see, m equals 1, b equals 1, so we have a line of slope 1 with y-intercept 1. Now the cool thing that you can do with variables is you can use them to change equations. Let's say we want the line to be of slope 2, y-intercept negative 6. Desmos can do that. Another cool thing you can do with variables is press this little play button to make the variables go back and forth between their minimum and maximum values. Let's say you want to change these values. All you have to do is click here, and let's say 2 is less than m is less than 3. There we go. And what if we want this to move a bit faster? That's also no problem. Just shift click right here, and we can change this speed value. Here's another use for variables in Desmos. Let's say we have a circle, x minus a squared plus y minus b equals r squared. You've probably seen this equation in your geometry class. This is the equation for a circle with center a comma b and radius of r. As you can see, we can change these variables to change the position and size of the circle. Another thing you can do with Desmos is create a point. Let's say we want a point as the center of the circle. Let's graph a comma b. And there we go. Now we have a point at the center of the circle. We can also drag this point around to change the values of a and b. Now let's look at something else that you've probably graphed on the Cartesian plane in your Algebra 1 class. Let's look at inequalities. First, let's graph y less than or equal to 0. As you can see, Desmos goes ahead and shades in all of the points where y is less than or equal to 0. Let's try again. How about x is less than y? Right, so here you can probably see a major difference between these two graphs. While each of them is shaded in their respective regions, their boundary line is different. The reason for that being, in the equation y is less than or equal to 0, the line y equals 0 is within the constraints of that graph, so it is graphed as a solid line. In the graph x is less than y, the line x equals y is not within that graph. Okay, so what if you wanted to change the color of the graph? Similarly to variables, you can shift click on this right here and select between any of these colors to fill in your graph. Let's say you wanted it orange. Actually, let's say you wanted it to be a color that wasn't any of these, to be a completely different color. In Desmos, you can also add colors using variables. Let's make a new variable, C. C equals RGB, and then you enter the RGB value of a color you want. Let's say we want, I just completely made up those numbers. Let's say we want this color. As you can see, it shows a little preview of the color in this bottom right hand corner. And then you can shift click back into here, and you can see that the color C is now a valid color option.